Me encontré por la vida con un libro que se llama Surrounded by Idiots, rodeado por idiotas. Y literal, en español se llama así, El hombre que estaba rodeado de idiotas, de Editorial Grijalbo. Y el autor de ese libro se llama Thomas Erikson. Y Thomas es un especialista sueco en comportamiento, comunicación, es conferencista, ha viajado por todo el mundo impartiendo conferencias y seminarios y es autor de este bestseller y de muchos otros, pero hoy vamos a entender mejor a todos los que ustedes creen que son idiotas y sobre todo 4 tipos de comportamiento humano claves que definen cómo interactuamos y percibimos a las personas que nos rodean. I almost did a somersault when I saw your book, Thomas. I was so excited. I said, this is so fun because there's many people in this world that feel that they're surrounded by idiots that are absolutely non-understandable. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me, how did this book come about?
Well, as you just said, who haven't been in that meeting? Being, sitting down, listening to people, trying to make your argument, trying to take good notes, listening, really paying attention. But when you leave the meeting, you get that notion, what's wrong with these people, right? And sometimes you feel you're surrounded by idiots. Interestingly enough, some people seem to be surrounded by more idiots than others, and that is quite interesting.
Now, so explain your definition of an idiot.
My definition of an idiot, well, you can make jokes about this. When I was a young man, which was, as you can see here, quite some time ago, idiots, that were the ones who didn't agree with me. Those were the idiots. Those who agreed with me, good people, right? But no, there aren't many idiots out there, really. There are a few, 12, 15, but they move around a lot. So you kind of run into them all the time. But I would say there aren't really idiots out there. There is, though, a lot of people you don't understand. And sometimes you might find the idiot in the mirror. I did that once, didn't end happily.
So how should we break this down? Should we start with the 4 human behaviors that are most common in your book?
Sure. Well, this is a 2x2 matrix. It's not new. It's been around. I just put it in the book, so I can't take the credit for inventing anything. But I found it very, very useful. Red people, I mean, it's a combination of extroversion, introversion, task orientation, people orientation. So you get the 4 basic fundamental types, which can, of course, be combined anyway. Should we walk through all of them, you think?
Absolutely. Let's go color by color. So let's start with red people.
Red people, dominant ones, fast-forward thinkers, very impatient. Are you still sitting around here? What are you doing here? Get off and get going, do something. Life is short, we need to do stuff. Can't sit around and just chatting, People orientation, I don't know about people, Red people are actually surrounded by more idiots than others. This is a narrow, yes, I know, I'm so sorry. I read it in a book called Rodeado, idiotas. So it has to be true. The point is this, they are very impatient, they are result-oriented, goal-focused, and if you don't strive for the goal, they will lose interest immediately.
I am such a red, Thomas.
Yes, you are.
Describe me.
I know.
Impatient, goal-oriented. I always say that life is measured by results. My husband always says that I'm always in a hurry. I can't even go to the bathroom in peace because I feel this anxiety that I have to be doing something. I hate sleeping because I think it's an absolute waste of time. And sitting down for lunch or dinner or breakfast for more than 20 minutes is, again, an absolute waste of time.
Such a waste of time.
I like fast. So do you think I'm red?
I would suggest you have some red within you. Yes, that is probably the case. It's a great color. You have to love the reds, right?
Now, I assume that even though we're going to go color by color, we all must have a little bit of every color and dominated by one color? Or how does it work?
How does it work? That is, of course, the right question. Well, the thing is, it's not about types of people. It's more like types within people. And as you just said, we all have the capacity for any color. I could go full red or full yellow, full green, full blue, depending on the situation. If the fuses go in my house, I have to go full blue and investigate and find out how to do it right. Otherwise, it's going to burn down to the ground, even though I might not be very blue. But you are more comfortable with one or two colors. Actually, statistically, a combination of two colors is the most common. About 80% of people in the industrialized world, let's call it, are a combination of two colors. It could be any combination.
Now let's go with the color yellow. No. Wait, there's one more thing I want you to say. Phrases that red behavior use all the time.
Too many words. That's a common phrase. My wife, who is 98% red and nothing else, and a bit furious, didn't I get 100%? That's bad. I want to do this again. I say, it's not a competition. I say, everything is a competition, she says. But tells me all the time, too many words. Why do you have to keep talking so much? And I say, well, who knows, really? But, get going. If you have full control over your car, you're not going fast enough. That's a red statement.
Okay. And there's another one that I read in your book that I love. Why is it taking forever? What is going on? Like, that is so me. So I got the red down, and I think everybody understands red pretty well. Now let's go with yellow.
Let's go with yellow. These are also extrovert, but people-oriented, which means this is the smiley ones, the charming ones, the happy ones. The sun is overshining, and even though you look out and say it's actually raining, yeah, but the sun is overshining somewhere. You have to be happy. Life is short. Let's enjoy the situation and be happy. And who are you? And they know everybody. Well, they make friends with everybody. And even if they don't know you, you're just a buddy. They haven't reached, they haven't gotten to know yet. So they will talk to anyone all the time. They are poor listeners. They really don't hear what you say. But they have a lot of things to say by themselves. And mostly what they are telling you sounds interesting, fascinating, and captivating. And they will make you listen and pay attention to them because they have huge egos. Huge egos. Look at me. I am here now. La la la. That's the yellow trait.
What is a typical yellow phrase?
Don't worry, be happy, I would say.
Okay.
And also, I know him. I know her. I know everybody.
You want to go to green?
You're doing a really good yellow. I have to give you that. Okay, so going green, meaning taking it down a few, calm, caring, sharing, striving for stability. And, take it easy, take your time, don't rush anything. It was better before. Well, maybe it's wasn't better before, but it's worse now anyway, They don't like changes. Changes are, who asked for changes, Let's stay put and see what's going to happen. Hopefully nothing.
Okay, that is my husband, by the way. That is my husband. I just wonder if green and red is a good combination.
Rain check?
Yeah. I mean,
in your case, of course.
Would you say that green is like the zen of all of them? Well, Gandhi was green. I see that Gandhi was green. Yes, Michelle Obama is green. Jimmy Carter is green.
I would guess Jesus was green.
Yeah, Jesus must have been green. Absolutely. Jesus was
helpful, friendly, very kind, very generous, very caring for other people. Of course he was.
Now let's go down to blue.
Blue. Yes. Here you have an introvert, task-oriented people, which gives you an engineer or a brain surgeon or an accountant, perhaps. Logical thinking, details, facts, details, proof, details. Did I mention details? They can dig themselves down to the groundwater because you need to know more. Here is an instruction manual. How fascinating. But I see you don't have it. Do you have it in the original language? And I might say, well, you don't speak Spanish. I could learn. There's been some irritating translation errors, but they strive for quality, and they will never miss anything. Very, very annoying for red and yellows, I can tell you that.
I can imagine that they're very structured, that they're very process-oriented.
Extremely.
Square.
Yes, that is correct. This is how you do it, And you might say, or a yellow person, well, let's invent another method. No, this is the correct way. Don't change things because this is working. Let's follow the procedure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you do it.
So I guess that the key and the whole objective of the book is being conscious about who you are and understanding who is in front of you. Thomas.
Exactly. It's fascinating to brag a little bit. The book, Rodeado, idiotas, is actually translated to 56 languages. Why is that? I'm not saying it to impress you, but to impress upon you. The content obviously resonates with a lot of people literally all over the planet. And I think the reason is it's fun to read about other people and laugh about them a little bit, red, yellow, green, and blue. But it's also fascinating to read about yourself, because my main aim is to make people understand themselves. Firstly, to build your self-awareness. If you know you are red, or if you really know you are mostly yellow, you know how you present yourself to the world. You will understand what other people see when you interact with them. And if you know this, it's so much easier to adapt to a certain situation, a certain individual, than if you just enter the room and say, I am here now, let's do this.
So why is it important to understand the way you are better? How does that influence, or how does that better the relationship you have with others?
Let's say you have a green person in front of you. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do the analysis, you figure it out, you interpret the person as a green. All right. Now, if you read my book, you see they want to be treated like this and like that, and they would like you to act in a certain way. However, it depends pretty much about who you are. If you are a blue person, you need to speed up. If you are a yellow person, you need to slow down in order to meet the green person, because the green person has a certain green pace, let's call it. And if you don't know from where you are coming, it's not going to work, the adaptation. You need to know your own pace, your own way of interaction, of communication. So you need to know the starting point. If I would like to go to Mexico, I could call my travel agency, not that we do it anymore, but, for the sake of argument, I say, get me a ticket to Mexico City. And they will say, no problem. And then they will ask me, from where would you like to go? Just imagine, I said, never mind that. Don't be so problem-oriented. Just get me the ticket. How will they solve it? Answer, they won't. You need 2 dots on the map to connect. You need a starting point. That will always be you. And the destination is the other person.
I'll use myself as an example to be more self-explanatory with this conversation. I told you during the commercial break that I'm a total red and my husband is a total green. And obviously, because I do know myself, I make a conscious effort to be patient with his patience, with his speed. And he tries to be patient and understanding with the speed and the velocity with which I work. And I think that that is why that relationship works, because he is not trying to change me. I am not trying to change him. We accept each other just the way we are. We know who we are, and we just deal with it as graciously as we possibly can to make the marriage work.
It's an excellent example. I love this kind of example because that is actually the clue. It's the key. If you understand from where you are coming, both of you, in a friendship, in a relationship, in a marriage, whatever it is, you can do these adaptations. You love each other, you care for each other, you respect each other, all of these things. But that's not enough. We need to negotiate in our daily communication, so to speak, and you have to slow down and he have to speed up. And because you respect each other and you want to be together, you will do this, even though it might be a struggle sometimes. As I mentioned before, a bit jokingly, I am married to a super red woman also, and I have quite a high red bar myself, but I have equally blue in me, which is two, opposite directions completely. And she goes crazy when I say, I'm going to go blue now. No, she said, no. But she understands why. So.
Our producer is saying that she's totally yellow. So just let me read yellow again. So I'm telling the audience that if they already found out what color they are or what color their partner is, the question for you is, are there like more lethal combinations or more challenging combinations than others?
Yes. Definitely so. I was afraid of that question a little bit. Well, the best combinations are extroverts together, meaning reds and yellows. They go pretty well together. And the same thing goes for introverts, greens and blues. They understand these different types of energies, let's call it. You can combine task-oriented people, as in blues and reds, because they have a task orientation in common, but they have different speed in their bodies. One is the accelerator, the other one are the brakes. And, relation-oriented people, greens and blues, greens and yellows. And the biggest challenges are obviously when you go this side in the matrix, meaning blue and yellow. That is a challenge. And red and green, that is a challenge. I would lie if I didn't tell you.
Exactly. That's my relationship, green and red. So at the end, Thomas, and this is such a great conversation. By the way, what time is it in Sweden?
It is close to 9 p.m. in the evening.
So thank you for interrupting your dinner time for having this conversation with us.
No problem. It's been a pleasure.
So, okay, in summary, what are you going to learn when you read this book? In Spanish, it is called El hombre que estaba rodeado de idiotas.
You will learn how to interact with other people better than before. The thing is, the saying goes, a chain is not stronger than its weakest link. And even if you make all the links equally strong, the chain will finally break where the links are connected. We can't see this on the radio, but where they are sort of scratching towards each other. And when the chain breaks, it's usually, I would say, it could be at a job, bad routines, but it's 90% bad communication. And by being an excellent communicator, you can deal with close to any type of people ever, regardless if it's in your private life or if it's in your professional life. Less conflict, less misunderstanding, actually a happier, more efficient way of dealing with anyone ever.
Well, you talk all the time and you give conferences and workshops. I mean, to, CEOs and directors from companies, from Coca-Cola to Microsoft, to IKEA, to Volvo. And why is it so important for them, for leaders, for true leaders, to have conversations with you about this?
Because leadership is a communication process. If you can't communicate, you can't lead. That is just the way it is. And no one can convince me otherwise.
Thomas, thank you so much for this great conversation. It's a great, great book that I have enjoyed, and I have laughed, and I have understood so many people that surround me after.
I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you for being on the show. I think I did a very good job translating everything you said to Spanish.
I think you're excellent at translation. You have a second career coming if something goes sideways.
Exactly. I could always be a translator. Thank you, Thomas. A big kiss all the way to Sweden.